You're watching TVC Breakfast, and it's now time to find out what's been happening in the world of social media and more. And the only lady that will give us all the accurate information is standing by. Olamide, I know that a whole lot has happened over the weekend and you're itching to let us know. Good morning.
Good morning, gorgeous. Too much has happened. Team, what Nigerians get up to on the weekend cannot be contained in a single Trending Now segment, but we'll do our best. Shall we?
Take it away. Take it away.
Good morning, Nigeria. Like I always say, TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I do our best to bring you some of the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today in a very shocking twist of fate, where two suspected kidnappers have been arrested in Edo State in what authorities describe as a major breakthrough in the abduction of two medical doctors earlier this year. Dr. Babatunde, a house officer at Edo University Teaching Hospital, Yamo, was kidnapped alongside his younger brother, Dr. Abu Tahir, who was a recent graduate of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, on the 1st of January in Auchi. Dr. Babatunde later regained his freedom after spending 2 weeks in captivity following the payment of a 50 million naira ransom by his family. But tragically, his younger brother was later found dead near Olive River along City Pride Road, Igbira Camp, on the 5th of January. And police say that he was killed, unfortunately, by his abductors. The suspects were identified after bringing their children for treatment at the same hospital where Dr. Babatunde works. And Dr. Babatunde reportedly immediately recognized them, leading to their arrest and their handover to the police. Well, the suspects are currently in police custody in Auchi as investigations continue. This case has, of course, renewed concerns about criminal elements living amongst us. How many monsters live within us unnoticed? Let's have a look at social media. Chukwuemeka Stanley says they killed a doctor, collected ransom from the surviving one, but audaciously brought their own child for wound dressing in the same hospital where the murdered doctor worked. For who to treat them? A ghost doctor? Savior says, thing is, they are just foot soldiers. The big man that gives them guns and who they hand over the money to will never be made public. These ones will take the fall and the man will get new boys to continue his work. And now, team, this story has dominated headlines over the weekend. As we just saw there, you know, a doctor and his brother were kidnapped. The brother lost his life in the hands of the abductors. But a few weeks later, two young men show up to his hospital. Their child is sick and they want to dress his wound. And the doctor says, you are the two men I recognize that kidnapped me. Talk about a twist of fate, eh, Mr. Shomi?
Yeah, it's quite sad that we still have mindless people living within communities. I mean, these are people living within Auchi who obviously kidnapped, as identified by the doctors, you know, identified and killed his own younger brother. It's sad. It's a mindless killing. There's no reason to justify, you know, the killing of a young doctor, and only to later bring your own children to the hospital, you know, hoping to get them treated by the same doctor who you have just extorted through kidnapping. I think the law should take its course in this matter.
Exactly, Olamide. I don't understand how people think, you know, when you attack a medical professional, don't forget that, you know, you will need that person at one point of your life, because these are the people that help, you know, to restore life. You know, I know that God is the, you know, utmost giver of life, but these are the people that will make sure that you're well. These are the people that will dress your wound. You know, these are the people that would make sure that you're stable. And then you kidnap and you kill, you know, the person's younger brother. And then you now go there. Like, I do not even understand, you know, how these people think. You know, it's so sad. And even let's put medical personnel aside. You know, I do not understand what these kidnappers put in their mind when they do something like this. Like, you're causing harm to somebody's family. Over what? Over how much? And we forget the fact that nobody is living this life with anything that they've acquired in life. So what is now the reason for, you know, doing such a horrific thing when you go back and meet your maker? I'm so happy that this doctor was able to identify them, and I hope that they really face the full weight of the law, because this will set a precedent to other kidnappers. I feel like oftentimes a lot of people lose hope in, you know, just saying that this thing happened to me, because they feel like the law doesn't really take its course. We need to set examples. These people need to be thrown in the cell, you know, for the rest of their lives, actually.
It is so kind of feelings that I have over this issue. You know, you kidnap someone and then you collect, according to reports, like almost 50 million naira was paid in ransom before this person is released. That's why we say in Yoruba adage that the weevil that eats the vegetable actually lives in there. So these people didn't come from, they may not originate from there, maybe they are not origin of Edo State, but they also live in Edo State, because if they don't live there, they won't have the temerity, the audacity to take their children to that same hospital. Where they were kidnapped from, only God knows, but the fact that they thought they would not be identified by the people living around them. We've got these reports in different states when they said the kidnappers, the bandits, the terrorists, they live within the same society where they attack. So when we have this intel, we have this information, those of these guys that have been arrested, they should do further investigation and ensure that they are arrested and brought properly brought to justice.
You know, Tim, I must say, we often conceptualize kidnappers as these very far away, vague figures. Yeah. They're close to home and they're closer than we think. And this situation has just told us that. Once again, we condole with Dr. Abu Babatunde's family on the loss of his brother. Thank you so much for your input, Tim. Now, moving on into the world of northern politics, where two separate videos involving Nigerian political figures are currently trending online. In Kano State, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf was filmed driving himself through major streets late at night as residents cheer him on and record the moment. The atmosphere, as you can see, appeared very relaxed, and he had no heavy security presence that was at least visible to the camera. Now, this video surfaced amidst ongoing political tensions between Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf and his former political ally, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, with some observers suggesting that this drive was meant to reinforce his grassroots image. Supporters online are praising the governor as being accessible and confident. In another viral clip, African Democratic Congress chieftain Aminu Tambowal is seen declining to sit in a chair placed under the flag of the All Progressives Congress. Now, former APC national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje is offering the seat, but Tambowal insisted that the flag be removed before he sat down. It was a very comical moment. Well, he eventually took the seat after interventions from others that were present. Now, Tambowal is currently a member of the ADC. So it's clear that whether you're driving around in Kano State or you're deciding where to sit, it could be seen as a political move. Let's have a look at social media. Reformer Oluseun says, politicians here are so lucky. People expect very little from them. Imagine praising a governor for driving himself around the state with his cameraman, blowing his horn, and people are already pleased, like he has fulfilled all his electoral promises to the electorate. And Don Love says, Nigerian politicians know how to play on people's emotions. When last did those people on the streets actually see him like this? Another election is around the corner, and suddenly we're seeing night drives and crowd waving. Let's be honest, this looks more like politics than genuine connection. And if I may ask, why does it look like he's struggling with his steering wheel? Omo Ogun says, the same Tambowal that was once in APC. All these politicians are friends, but we the ordinary citizens keep fighting ourselves for them. I hope that we learn from this. All's fair in love and politics, they say, team. Now, we do know that many times people have debated the grassroots appeal of Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf when you compare it to the Kwankwasian movement. On the other hand, we're seeing a moment of play between two northern governors that can tell us a lot about Nigerian politics. You know, sometimes you log heads, and other times it's a game, essentially, at the end of the day.
Yeah, for Abba Kabir Yusuf, it's so important for him to do what he did. Bearing in mind that he fell out with Kwankwaso, who heads the Kwankwasia movement. Of course, at a point in time, Yusuf was the spokesperson as far back as 2014. And for him, it's reassuring to know that even with his defection to APC, he could still drive around the streets, be shared by the people. For him, it's very reassuring. It means no matter the political differences, he has not lost his place within the Kwankwasia movement. And in relation to Tambowal, you know, politicians are always very suspicious of his own. He will probably think, oh, if I see there, they probably will take my picture, it will all be on social media. Tambowal has not joined APC and all that. So they're ultra sensitive in that way.
So I'll start with Abba Yusuf, you know, driving. I think he really needs to check his driving skills because I could see the car checking. But, you know, that aside, I think that it's not something to celebrate, you know, seeing him drive, you know, alone without security and all that, because that's how it's supposed to be, you know, grassroots politics. The people are supposed to be able to reach out to you. You're supposed to be accessible to your people because you're there for your people. But this is a man that, you know, we had a guest the other day that was talking about the fact that he betrayed, you know, the ADC, right, if I'm correct. Ibrahim, the ADC, right, that he betrayed the ADC. And, you know, I was telling the person that it seems like the ADC... the NNPP, you know, it seems like the NNPP wants him, you know, but he doesn't want them back. So it's good to see that, you know, he still has the love from people. But the driving alone, I don't think it's such of a big deal. And then also to Tambuwal, well, we all know that if he sat down there, the conversation will be different this morning. What will be reporting will be quite different. So I think it was sensible for him, you know, to just do the right thing and probably not sit there if he's not part of the APC.
Right, interesting. It's good to see that the governor drove himself, but it's actually not new in Nigerian political milieu. Former Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola was always driving himself, especially when he went on, you know, visiting, checking, inspecting the projects within Lagos State. So one governor is driving to say that, yes, I still hold sway, I'm still very popular among my people. Another one did it back in the day to inspect, you know, roads, inspect all the infrastructure that it was laying on the ground. So it's quite interesting. And then the other one saying, okay, sit on this seat, your seat has APC, I'm not a member of APC. Yeah. So that does not be a bait, and at the same time, you know, there will be a switch to say that he or she had joined the APC. Or it could be that, are you sure you have not laced that seat with something? Because everyone is suspicious. Yeah. I don't want to get into trouble.
Indeed.
But I believe that it's all politics, and it's just for us to talk about it. And we're indeed talking about it.
Absolutely. Very interesting antics we're seeing ahead of the 2027 polls. Thank you so much for your input, team. Now moving on, a video showing Margaret Obi, the wife of former Anambra State Governor and the 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, dancing to a live performance of an Asake song has gone viral online. Now in this video, Margaret Obi is seen dressed in traditional Yoruba attire, and it was complemented with matching jewelry as she enjoyed the event. As you can see, she's having a wonderful time. Peter Obi and his wife were among prominent guests that attended the burial ceremony of the late Otumba Adekunle Ojora that was held at Echo Hotel and Suites in Lagos. Now, while many online users praised Margaret Obi's dance style and her moves, other people online are currently questioning the cost of her outfit and her jewelry, and it's sparking debate and discourse on social media. Now, these reactions, of course, are coming against the backdrop of Peter Obi's public image of modest living and the stance he's often taken against ostentatious displays of wealth. Let's have a look at social media. They say that if you want to know the power of a man, look at his wife. Jide Ofo Akwa says, this is actually why women love Igbo men. It is an average Igbo man's pride to have his wife adorned glamorously. It is a thing of honor in Igbo land. That is why you will see an Igbo man who drives a Camry, but his wife drives the latest Mercedes. Baba Onome says, some women are known for flamboyance. That the husband doesn't wear luxury doesn't mean he will restrict his wife if he has the means to provide for her. Find another agenda. This is dead on arrival. A better Nigeria is achievable. Now, team, you know I don't make the rules. I go based on engagement. If a story is trending, it is my mandate to take it, and this was dominating headlines. Now, unfortunately, she found herself at a party, dancing, having a good time, but they've turned it into a game of politics. They're saying your husband is constantly speaking about modest living, and yet here you are decked out in heavy, heavy gold.
I think this is just very important because if you bear in mind the fact that Peter Obi once said he had only one wristwatch, only to discover that he had so many. He wore different wristwatches when pictures came out. He said he didn't have a house in Abuja, but next, his own company had so many buildings in Abuja. And now he claimed he's living a modest lifestyle, only to realize that the wife is living an ostentatious lifestyle. So there's a kind of duplicity, you know, about Peter Obi. No matter how you look at him, he seems to be bifurcated one way or the other. So I think it should be very, very important for viewers and electorate to actually see this other side of him, that it's somehow duplicitous.
For me, we wouldn't have been talking about it if he didn't come out to, you know, just put about how he lives such a modest life. For me, I'm thinking that Peter Obi is drinking Gary inside his house, because the way he puts it out there, no, it's true, the way he makes it look like, you know, there is actually nothing. So I know that I actually saw the video. I had to ask someone, is that really his wife? She looked beautiful, by the way. But then again, to see his wife like that, and then I'm now expecting, like, you know, what is really going on? What you're saying is what you're preaching is not what we're saying. You know, I was even about to speak about the watch as well. This is the man that has said, oh, I have just one watch. Oh, I don't even own a house, you know, I don't have anything. So seeing your wife like that, it's not even about the Igbo culture anymore. We know that the Igbos like their wives, you know, to look really good. But he has come out to say that they live a very modest life. You know, his family is so modest. So seeing this, that's why people are talking about it. And I don't think it's about politicizing anything. I think people are just surprised to see his wife look like that, contrary to what he's been telling us, basically.
Guys, don't get it twisted. This is a party. Let's set it straight, because people are expected to come out, to parties flamboyantly. And how do you expect Obi to have that billions of dollars, so to speak, in his account? And then even if he chooses not to spend it, he's got a wife that is saying, hey, baby, we've got to spend this money. They have to know that we have money, even though we want to live austere life. You continue living your austere life, even though you tell us that you have, as you said, Mr. Shomi, that he's got one wristwatch, one bata, and all of that. But we still see all of that, in different pictures, but maybe the same brand or whatever. But the wife, of course, how do you know that he's taking care of his wife if the wife is not coming out to show that, yes, I'm the first lady to be, God willing? So please, let them enjoy their money.
Ibrahim,
she's a wife.
I'm enjoying your sarcasm, honestly.
Maybe it's sarcasm, I do not know.
Now, it's important to put into context that we don't have any certain valuation of the jewelry that she's wearing. We don't have the weight. We don't know what type of jewelry exactly it is. But this is what we call the optics of politics, and all we have is social media video. Thank you so much for your input, team. Now, here on the TVC Breakfast Show, we truly believe that time is of the essence. The past, the present, and of course the future. Now, this segment is what we like to